The waters of Long Island Sound have long been important to the people living around its shoreline.
Out west, they have a saying, Winnie Machoni, water is life. Water is something that every single living thing on this planet needs. People are beginning to learn a little bit more about the importance of the sound and what it really can and should represent to them. We've known as Indigenous people all the time about the importance of the shoreline. The water is a central point that connects everybody.
Connecticut is very tied to the water. It really defines our state, that connection. And I think that Long Island Sound in some ways has really made Connecticut what it is, and how we think, the communities that have developed, the industries that have developed around it, and how we relate to the shoreline.
Long Island Sound is unique in the fact that it's a nearly closed basin, so we have openings at either end. In a way, it's a very special environment because it's fairly protected. It hasn't suffered the same degree of erosion. But what I love as an archaeologist is the fact that it is full of unknowns. My own research as a grad student was focused on the Paleo-Indian period, and that goes back in Connecticut perhaps as much as 13,000 years ago, certainly 12,000 years ago. We know because of changes in sea level that most of the sound at that time was dry land. And it is likely that our most important archaeological sites from that period are out deeply underwater off the sound and then buried beneath as much as 30 feet of recent silt deposits. Those original sites located around the old ancient shoreline would be our best, our largest, richest archaeological sites from this very important time period that we have otherwise very little documentation of.
Along with archaeological sites, Long Island Sound's historic and cultural features are also valuable resources.
There are so many things that are iconic that really speak to the development of Connecticut in terms of its maritime heritage and even our industrial development. They range from more well-known Native American sites, buildings and structures. There's many communities along the coast that are historic districts, so they're a combination of buildings and features that together tell a historic story.
To minimize conflicts with the Sound's many uses today and in the future, Connecticut began work on a marine spatial plan. The Long Island Sound Blue Plan includes preserving the Sound's special ecosystems and resources while making sure the decision-making process is science-based and inclusive of all stakeholders.
The Blue Plan is just beginning. It's a 5-year planning process, and this is the first of the 5-year periods. So it'll be a growing and living document, and I could see every town official and municipal planner benefiting from the guidance that's offered there.
I would really recommend the general public provide comments to the Blue Plan, especially if they know of finds that were found when they've been visiting the beach. I know of these finds in places like Waterford, Connecticut. They pull out a big 5,000-year-old axe. That is an indication that there was an archaeological site very nearby. Oystermen and other people dredging in the Sound often pull out very interesting objects. There is some discussion of possible caribou bone having been dredged up. Now and then you get mastodon teeth. And all these are kind of interesting clues to what the terrestrial environment was like. So again, as much public information that we can get, the better, because it really can open our eyes to where there are possible site locations that we are just not yet aware of.
What makes the best plans are those that have opinions and voices from multiple groups, especially for a plan like the Blue Plan. This is a very large, comprehensive document where everybody has an interest in what's happening in Long Island Sound because it is so much a part of our Connecticut character that people really should have their voices heard about what they think is important.
If you would like to share your comments and concerns about the Long Island Sound Blue Plan, please visit our website for more information.